It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.
And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, and I thank y'all for watching another live broadcast here at the Logan Power Show. Well, it's all about what we do to give back to the community and how the community needs us. I got two people that not give back to the community outside, but they come inside, helping with education, making sure that our youth of today will be the better future leaders of tomorrow. To the left, I got Ms. Shuttles. To the right, I got Mr. Collins. How y'all both doing today?
Great, thank you.
Great to be here, Mr. Logan.
All right. So, Ms. Sherry Shuttles, talk about the program that you started to sort of help with education, and what are you doing at this current time?
Okay, thank you. My name is Sherry, middle initial A for Ann, Suttles. I'm the founding president of Gullah Geechee Group Incorporated. And for those of you who know, I'm what's called a come-ya, not a been-ya. I have been here in this culture since the year 2000, really. And anyway, we started a program right about this time last year, and we've titled it Bridge the Gap. And that stands for Gullah Geechee, America to Africa. This program is international. And agricultural and arts, and then P for program. We're following the model of Reverend Daniel Joseph Jenkins of Jenkins Orphanage Band fame. And we learned that he also taught those young people how to farm. So that's the A, arts and agriculture. And we're so excited to be here at Septima P. Clark. That's one of the places we launched this effort November 7th. The other one was at Mary Ford, an early learning center, the little kindergarten children. The purpose of this project not only is to bridge America and Africa and all those other letters and words, it's to what we call increase the academic level of these particular students who are disproportionately failing in some cases. In this school, they're just a little bit behind, as I understand it, and to decrease the school to prison pipeline. And we're going to be tracking with the work that, I almost said Dr. Collins, he's like a doctor to us, is doing, and he's been here like every Friday and other days, and I'm going to let him tell you specifically the role that he's playing. But I have worked over the years in different cities and counties, and just to get into a school system is exciting to me. And not only is he here, he is valued, appreciated by the administration, the students, hopefully, and the teachers. So thanks again for having us, and I'll turn over, no, what we say in the movement, I yield.
I yield. Good morning. Yes, we are here with the Bridge the Gap program. I was assigned to Dr. Toure Thompson, the science teacher, and I was brought in especially to work with African seeds, part of a program at the Middleton Place Foundation, which was a former rice plantation, as a descendant of one of those former enslaved Africans. We have been researching African seeds, and we are bringing that into an education curriculum. So we thought it was a good match to introduce that program, those seeds, the foodways, the byproducts, and opportunities for our younger people to learn something about their culture through agriculture. So it fits kind of into the model that Ms. Suttles is talking about with her Gullah Geechee Group Inc. Bridge the Gap program. The science curriculum was tied in with their raised beds, and they already had some plants growing, and I brought some African seeds in. But in addition to the seeds themselves, which was okra and bene and squash and peppers, there are cultural folkways that surround agriculture, not just planting the seeds, because in the African tradition, they use the whole plant, not just the fruit or just the flower or just the leaf. And so some of those cultural norms, like taking the stalk and making tools for work, are some of the things that we introduce to the students here. Dr. Thompson was teaching earth science at the time, so we found a good fit in there. And I began to develop ideas around supporting their learning, because as an educator, I was able to supplement some of the things he was doing in his classroom. So we're excited to be here. Dr. Vineyard, as our principal, has been very supportive of our presence here, and it gives us a great opportunity to pilot the project here at Septima P. Clark, and we're looking forward to working with other classes like Mr. Lowe's algebra class, and ways that we can get them to learn using some of those African traditions.
Got it. So, in regards to your initiative, Bridge the Gap, we know that they say currently when it comes to African Americans, Hispanics, the reading level on education level right now is below 30%, where there should be. They're not. Right now, over 70+% of African Americans and Hispanics are not on reading level, not on grade level, based on data analysis been given. In your bridging the gaps that you're focusing on, Mary Ford, predominantly African American school, Seth P. Clark, another predominantly African American school, what's the overall vision? I know a lot of times when we do build programs, there are stomping blocks that come in our way. There are hurdles that we have to get, and there's always legality that stops us from saying, okay, well, it worked, but I don't think it's just a national problem. It could be like, say, it could be just, small pockets or schools. So what is sort of the vision to make it so that you don't get halted by, different type of adversity to stop you from doing what you gotta do?
Right. Well, I have a career where I, quote, broke the barriers, and I said, I didn't know about barriers. I knew what I wanted to achieve, and I just did it. We'll talk about that another time. To that question, I do want to give credit to, I call him my little Jewish friend. You may want to edit this out, but he lives about 5 minutes away from here. Howard Coleman is his name. And he's the one that added that school to prison pipeline component. And his vision is that all the students would get the exposure to the Gullah Geechee culture. He documented Reverend Jenkins' activities. So ultimately, that's what we want to do. We don't want to just say Gullah Geechee this, Gullah Geechee that. We want it to be permeating in the whole school system. And to the credit of the acting interim superintendent, Don Kennedy, he has encouraged this. He has cited Septima P. Clark in particular as one of the more progressive school programs. It's not a school per se, we understand. And also the Mary Ford place. So we're integrated into the curriculum. And of course, Mr. Collins is a little modest. Not only has he come in here with that vision of getting the art, well, we're going to do the music, we haven't done that part yet. But he's been tapped to assist these students with their grade level achievement by the end of this year, I guess. Each year they do this. So what we're doing is, we're not only just doing it, but we're tracking. We want to show at the end of our effort here that there's been a difference. And I looked at the school district plan before we launched this. It's like 200 pages, if you're familiar with it. The very first introduction paragraph is, Charleston, South Carolina is known for two things. One, jazz, which came out of the Jenkins Orphanage Band, and two, the Gullah Geechee culture, the barrier islands where basket making and ironworks, storytelling, all the crafts that we also promote, and which we brought here on the 7th of November last year. And that's all it says. All the rest of the 200 pages doesn't say anything else anymore about jazz and Gullah Geechee. So my vision is to have that integrated into every class. And Ty has this, well, I call him Ty familiarly now. He has this wonderful approach. You're going to talk about that, I hope, right? Where our children, and my own son, who's now 40, I couldn't just do math. Well, he first of all said, Mom, you're not the teacher. Why are you even talking to me? But I did try to counsel and help him. And instead of just showing a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the wall, 1 + 1 is 2, I had to take something tangible. In that case, maybe the spoons and the forks. And you're going to describe what you use. And this is what I love about our being here, just being here. If we never touch Gullah Geechee culture, which we are by definition of being here, at least we're reaching the way our children learn. And we're tracking that, and hopefully we'll show a difference next year, this time, that the children's grades have gone up and the prison to pipeline part has gone down.
Absolutely. Mr. Collins, she wanted you, I guess, to your turn to elaborate on sort of the pathway on how these kids will get the information. As we know, African seeds, sometimes unless you've experienced it and traveled abroad, you're able to see the impact, because there are sort of desolate desert places, but in certain parts of the continent of Africa where those seeds are planted, stuff grows.
Yes.
Now, if you put that same environment here in the United States, the soil does not birth as it compared when you travel to places from Djibouti, Somalia, those places that you don't have a lot of greenage. But when you start looking into that ground, there is stuff growing, and that sustainability is a lot longer than the green grass that you see out here.
Yes.
And because of the seasons, it doesn't go through 4, it go for roughly maybe 2. That really roughly, if you get 3, then there's a problem. But most of the time in the kind of Africa, you pretty much are getting a 2-part season.
Yes.
You're getting spring and summer, with the rain is considered to be the ancestral that's coming down to be able to plant the earth, and it's going to grow. The summer's going to make that moist, to get that soil birthing and those kind of things. So what is the experience piece that the kids are realizing through your teaching?
Well, I think what we have realized is a lot of what we're doing with those 17th century seeds is experimentation. So in many respects, they are learning the scientific method in real time. And it is practical because it is not theoretical on paper, read this to take the test. It's actually seeing the process. And the way that we are approaching this is through the way that they eat their food ways, and getting them away from chicken nuggets and having something a little more nutritious. And the fact that they can learn about the origins, they're learning geography in the process, they're understanding the importance of sustainability, living off of the land. They have a way of adjusting to time. They learn that they must take time because it does take time. It's not a fast food experience, and some of the skills and some of the learning around the process of planting seeds to reap a harvest is where we actually get the comprehension of, this is why I'm doing this, this is the outcome. It's not just for me, but it is for the community. So we have a way of getting them to rethink their lives and hopefully develop skill sets so that there will be life skills that they can carry forward and share with younger family members, with the family as a family body again, because we're so disparate now because of culture. So we see where classroom gives us the opportunity to make these children wholesome again and bring new ideas back to their households.
Absolutely. Final thought, where could people, principals that are watching this and saying, I feel this need for my school, for my high school, middle school, elementary, how would they able to bring you into the fold to say, hey, I need y'all to come to my school? What's the process?
Okay, two things I want to just comment on before I answer that. One is I have to credit Mrs. Joanna Martin Carrington, who was the executive director of Jenkins Orphanage for 14 years, and we knew each other way back in California before I knew she was from Gullah Geechee land, and she's going to be, what, like 92 this next month, June. So she's the one that brought me back up here from Florida to do this. And the other thing, I'm glad you mentioned Africa, because I've been several times, many countries, most recently to Sierra Leone, the homeland for the Gullah Geechee culture. And so that's where the Africa connection comes anyway. I don't know that I've even told this to Mr. Collins, but yesterday I hooked up with a potential filmmaker. We filmed that whole day, November 7th, which was Mary Ford here, and then the afternoon was in Jenkins. We got lots of footage, we got a lot of still shots, and I'm trying to get it down to, what, about 10 minutes worth. Howard Coben is a school board candidate in the past, he knows, and Helen Frazier, Dr. Frazier. They know what the attention span is, so we're going to try and tie, both of us have done work with documentaries. So the first thing we want to do is take that little 10-minute trailer, whatever it's going to look like, and have a man named Nigel Fordham, Sonia Fordham's nephew. He's talked with me, and he's going to condense all these hours into that message. So that's one way we're going to put this out on the YouTube, perhaps on your channel, we will show this. And also, because Don Kennedy has stated his goal, 5-year goal, and the school board at the time approved it, we're hoping that this will be part of the regular school newsletter. The music guy at Mary Ford, remember Tim Ailey's?
Yes.
He's already said he wants to take the footage that we had and put it out there on the school district web. And then, of course, as I say, we're wanting to go national. But I'm one of these, let's just start somewhere, prove our point, and then we'll really push this and promote this. And we're also looking for funding for it. We're just doing this out of our own pockets right now. And I'm the grant writer, and we're just going to look for some of this, what ESSER funds it's called, for the school's federal funding. And we can pay people like Mr. Collins and our videographer. And that will help too, I think, to promote this further. But we've got wonderful support, not only from the principal here, but the principal at the other school. And I guess I need to make this comment. I don't know if you know this, Ty, but we started this conceptually on the campus of Jenkins. Then right across the street is Daniel Jenkins Academy. And Mrs. Carrington got that name changed to Daniel Jenkins. He owned that land. But did you see Quintella Middleton was recognized for the
Cool school. Yes.
Cool school principal, and we first started that with her. She was just assistant at the time. So we are really connecting the dots, as they say, and with this effort. Thank you for the opportunity again to be here.
No problem. And for those that are watching right now, take heed to what we're doing. The Gullah Geechee Bridge the Gap program is not designed and saying that we're just focused on one race, but we're focused on a race that has made a pivotal way in bridging the gap for American history. We know that history is something, as a story is being told. This is a story that has not been told in its full totality. So it's bringing kids awareness of what we have to learn, that we have to bridge the gap. Understand this, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You need to know where you come from. I can't say that I'm an African American and I don't know where I started, where my roots, where my background is. If I don't know how a seed, the Bible says that you have faith of the grain of the mustard seed, tell this mountain to move and it shall move. Understand, a mustard seed is so small that the camera has to focus up to see where I am. But the mustard seed can be over 20 feet tall. So understand this, is that these African seeds, this type of Bridge the Gap program is to allow our students, not just African Americans, Hispanics, Caucasians, Asians, Native Americans, understand the culture of what people who look like us that took the initiative and say, you know what, I'm going to make a difference. Even though that I may not know it all, even though I may have been suppressed, even though I may have been taken advantage of, I'm going to change the way, my trajectory of life. Understand this. America has been through a lot. America has done some of the wrong things. And now it's time to change the narrative and let us bridge the gap together. Hey, that's all the time I got. My name is Calvin, the Logan Power Show. Nationwide, worldwide, we love you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you again.